Hi, this is Jerry Tuma, Certified Financial Planner and President of Cornerstone Financial Services. We've got a great new book for you called From Boom to Bust and Beyond. It deals with the root causes of the greatest boom, financial boom in world history. Did you know that the Dow Industrial Average went from 777 to 14,000 over a period of about 25 years? Millionaires were created and billionaires were created. There were very few billionaires when this first started, and now billionaires are commonplace in the world today. One of the things that you need to know about your future is, number one, what created the boom. Secondly, you need to know what created the bust, and then of course we're going to talk about beyond, what happens beyond that. We've got an enormous amount of material in the book. We talk about fallacies that will rule the world. What are the worldviews? What are the paradigms that really are running most of the world, both from a geographic, monetary, and a governmental perspective? The fallacies that rule the world is a chapter that you have to read because your paradigm is going to shift. We talk about bubble, toil, and trouble. What created the greatest bubble in world history? We had an enormous credit bubble as people financed mortgages, they financed subprimes, they financed everything, and they leveraged them out the wazoo, and that's what nearly caused a complete financial meltdown in the fall of 2008. We're also going to talk about root causes of this recession. You know, everybody recognizes this is the worst recession since the 1930s, and I can guarantee you we're not out of the woods yet. There's another leg that is about to hit. What most people don't understand are the root issues of this. What happens as the boomers begin to age and retire? What about Social Security? What about Medicare? How is the national debt going to affect us? There are all sorts of problems we've got to deal with, but the one thing we've got to do, we've got to be ruthless in the examination of the current reality, the facts, and the issues and the challenges that we've got to deal with, but we've also got to do it with absolute faith that we will prevail in the end. That's one of the most important principles we talk about in this book. You'll also understand about demographics. Western Europe is in what I call a death spiral demographically. We'll talk about that in the book. Beyond that, what do you do when you're done with the bust? After we've finished wiping up the mess that we've created with the bust and the excess credit and the excess leverage and all the housing issues, how do you create the next boom? We'll talk about the future of democracy. We'll talk about capitalism and how capitalism is going to grow worldwide. We talk about something called the freedom cycle. Where are we on the freedom cycle, both in the United States and in other countries like China and India? What is the future of economic freedom and abundance? And is there a link? Because there's an absolute link that we'll talk about and demonstrate in the book between freedom that produces prosperity. We'll also explain the differences in a grizzly bear market and a black bear. We've seen black bear markets in recent history in the 1980s and the 1990s. We're in a grizzly bear today that's totally different. Wealth building success secrets. How most millionaires got there. That's one of the things we talk about in this book. And finally, the fire and the ice section. What does that mean? The section of the book that we've devoted to what to do about this with your personal money, your finances, your investments. Are we going to have more deflation like they saw in Japan in the 1990s? What about inflation? What about hyperinflation? Are those things coming? We'll tell you exactly what we think you need to do about it. All this in our new book, From Boom to Bust and Beyond.